Activating the sketch on the XY front plane. Set view perpendicular to the sketch. Creating a double center line of 70. Creating two reference circles. The first one with center at 0 and radius of 29. Viewing the dimension with radius indication. The second circle with center at 0.77 and radius of 43. Tangent line to this circle with an angle of 120. Straight line of 0 and angle of 30. Circle with intersection in the two straight lines and radius of 42. Delete the auxiliary lines. Multiply by rotation the two circles with an angle of 120 and a total of 3. Selecting the upper circle. Creating an arc joining the two circles. Create next arc using partial erase. Repeating these operations for the other circles. Creating a line by midpoint and angle of 60. And a new line with offset of 18. Mirror the straight line offset with center at 0 and angle 90. Circle with radius 28. Join circle. Creating fillets with radius 8. And fillet with a radius of 13. Selecting and canceling the auxiliary lines and dimensions. The next geometry is not necessary as a basis for building the model. However, it will be created to show in an illustrative way how the contour will be rotated after the sweep. Copy external contour via Ctrl+C, exit the sketch. Create an offset plane with a distance of 350. Activate the sketch on this plane. Paste the contour with Ctrl+V. Rotate the geometry with 180 degrees. Exit the sketch, back to the model. Create a helix curve. The helix curve requires a reference arc. Opening sketch 1. Creating a reference arc with internal tangents and a radius of 120. Exit the sketch. Create a helix curve with a pitch of 700 and a revolution of 0.5. Invert helix. This generates a feature with a distance of 350 and a rotation of 180 degrees. Create a sweep, and the helix curve as the path. The contour of sketch 1 as the profile. Create a sweep cut. And the helix curve the path. The inner contour is the profile. Create a sweep rotation pattern with angle of 120 and total of 3. Creating the rotor axes. Extrude boss with direction 1 with 15 and at direction 2 with 365, that is 350 plus 15. Create sketch and circle with a radius of 20. Extrude boss in direction 1 with 420 and direction 2 with 460, that is 350 plus 30 plus 80. Make a keyway. Create sketch. Rectangle with center positioning in the quadrant and 12 by 6.1. Move the rectangle with a distance of 2 in the y direction. Extrude cut. I forgot to create the chamfer before this last feature. We can open a constructive insertion point before it. Creating an insertion mode. Create chamfer with values of 2. Close the insertion. Make fillets of 6 on the inner edges. create grooves on the other axis. With fillet of 0.8, create sketch and rectangle with center in the quadrant. Extrusion of 30. And fillet of 2. Create a circular pattern with a total of 20 instances and angle 18. Select Extrude feature and fillets. Using filters to clean the drawing. View the model edges with bold lines. Solid face allows to create 3D dimensions. Let's do some. Viewing dynamic section. Make some edit operations. For example, inserting a fillet before the pattern function. Close insertion. Hit the pattern and add the fillet. Now insert a parametric relationship. The value for the axis length could be a variable L. Editing the feature. Indicating L equal to 420. Changing LTO 440. Visualizing the variable L in this dimension. And show the variable and its value.